episode of ASMR Money Mentor. I hope you're doing well on this Wednesday, January 8th of the new year, 2025. How are you feeling so far about 2025? Everybody doing okay? Okay, great. I can't believe in a couple days I will no longer be working. I know it's really hard to believe, so come back in a couple days. I'm sure I'll be very ecstatic on Friday, but right now I'm feeling just a little bit feng shui, I guess. How are you guys feeling? Again, about 2025. You know, today I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I've done over the past week or so, you know, preparing for leaving corporate America, because it's kind of like a big deal, right? You know, I've been using my work laptop and like servers on my company's computer system for years, and I had all these files, all these folders from other projects, right, through the years. So I took a couple days last week, really, and I started purging all of those files. Delete, 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 delete. And it was so satisfying in a way, I guess, to get rid of all of those folders. And I said to myself, you probably won't need those folders anymore. So it was a little bittersweet though, you know, deleting all the files and folders from projects that I had worked on in years past. And if I didn't quit my job, there was always maybe the potential that I may need to go back to those files, you know, and take a look at something that I had done previously. But yeah, that's not going to happen now. So delete, 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 and suddenly 26 years of working for the same company is now gone. It's in the past. And so it was almost like I can relate it to some things that I could share with you. For years, you guys know, I traveled to client locations all over the country. And I would get back in town and I'd have to complete my expense report. And I'd have to put down the hotel, the airfare, and then all of the restaurants that I went to. It was hard to eat really well, let me tell you. You know, but I think I did okay. In fact, a lot of my coworkers teased me because I would always order the same things, like a Greek salad or salmon. Very healthy choices compared to, I guess, what they were eating. And all of it could be expense to the company, right? So that was amazing. And yet I did manage to eat that receipt. Years ago, we'd have to have the receipts and tape them to pieces of paper and then fax them in. I know. Do you even know what a fax machine is? Probably not. And then we could also in later years, of course, take a picture and then attach the receipt to the expense line item. And so when I would work on my expense reports, I would be revisiting the meal that I ate and be like, oh my gosh, Evan, did you really eat that much? And so it would just bring all that back, into your memory. So when I was on my laptop and I was deleting those files, delete, 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 it reminded me of my expense reports, because before I would hit delete, I would think about the project a little bit, and it would bring back some really good memories in most of the cases. And yet some of the files brought back nightmares of clients that I maybe did not enjoy working with. And I have to say, that is one thing I'm not going to miss, is working with demanding clients. Now, I will say I got lucky over many years, and that most of my clients were very reasonable. And you guys know, I'm sure, when you're working, if you work with clients, most of the time it's a good experience, right? But you do have those times where you're working with clients that you're just like, wow, I just wish this could be over. And one thing that was nice about the work that I did is that I would work with clients for maybe 4 months, maybe 6 months, and then they would be turned over to our service center. And of course, I was very happy about that sometimes when I was working with more challenging people. Yeah, let's look at it as a challenge rather than somebody being difficult. But what's really interesting, and maybe you guys experience this as well, when you're working with clients, what sometimes they fail to understand is that if they treat you really well, you're going to go above and beyond for them. And if they don't treat you well, you're probably going to do just enough to get by. Oh, I know that sounds terrible. I mean, I would always do my best, but I would do extra, for people that treated me well. It just makes sense. I also like to think about, and you guys may experience this as well, for those of you that are homeowners, or maybe you have a condo. Have you ever gone to the meetings for, like, let's say a condo association, and you get to interact with other people? And then sometimes, like at my condo facility here, or my condo community, I should say, we have a company that manages us. And so, we all gather in the clubhouse, and the manager gives a report, etc. Then they open it up. Now, people in that situation can just say whatever they want and fire things off, and they don't have a filter. Have you ever noticed? Yeah, people will just go on and on and on, and there's no filter. And I started to realize that that doesn't happen when you're working in corporate America or whatever country you're in. It doesn't happen usually because we have people that we are accountable to, like our bosses. And so something could come back, and yes, I mean, it doesn't happen that often that people get really nasty, right? But when you're at a association meeting where there's no accountability, then people tend to really be rude. guys have experienced that as well. And I guess I brought that up because working a job and being in corporate America, that's one thing, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, I am not going to miss. I am not going to miss working with clients, difficult ones especially. My time has come where I've shared with you guys, if I'm listening to my heart, I really don't want to do that anymore. I sacrificed a lot of years of my life, and you guys are as well, working for the company that you're with. And we tend to keep these feelings down, right? We suppress them. But once we know we're going to retire or quit, those feelings start to come back to the surface, which is natural. And I can honestly say right now, in a couple of days, when I call it quits, that for me was the right decision. Although, with the disclaimer, as you know, I may go back as a contractor in the future if that happens, and if they want me, and if I feel like I want to go back for a short period of time. Because you guys know, in 2025, in fact, I was just looking at my numbers. Remember, for 2025, in order for me to keep the credits for healthcare, which is like $960 a month, at the end of 2025, I have to show that I've made at least, let's say, $16,000. It might be $15,000 or $16,000 of income from various sources. It could be a job. It could be dividend income. It could be selling shares, capital gains, that I've talked about before. So I wrote it down on a piece of paper, and I'm going to keep that all in 2025. And remember, I am working in January. So I'm getting one full paycheck, a half paycheck, and then that little bonus that I told you about. Then I may have YouTube income in 2025, and then dividend income. So I probably only have to sell about $5,000 worth of shares of my taxable account to still get the $15,000, something like that. Anyway, I'm sure I'll ramble about that a little bit later. But these are the things that you learn as you start to go towards early retirement, if that is what you're going to do. And, suddenly things just all come together. So I also wanted to talk about in this episode, to tie back to what I just mentioned a few minutes ago, as far as, a health situation. I've always been really healthy, and I'm still really healthy. But I will say my New Year's resolution, not having my job on the side, well, my full-time job, I have to make fitness and nutrition a priority. So I just went to get blood work done for my annual physical, and my total cholesterol is high. It's never been high. So this is the first year. I've had a few years whereby my LDL, which is the bad cholesterol, has been slightly elevated. Well, right now the numbers seem to be much higher. I have to Google and do some research, and also talk to my doctor. I've got a friend that's a doctor. I'm going to talk to him first, and then talk to my regular doctor for my annual physical. And I know he's probably going to want to put me on some type of medication, which I don't want to do. There's a big debate, I think, about cholesterol, which I need to research. And it was slightly high a year ago, and he said, for now, let's do diet and exercise. Well, I'm going to have to tell him, like, listen, doc, my job really became challenging in 2024. And even though you guys know I dabble in walking and working out and, trying to eat well, in September with the hurricanes, I kind of fell off the wagon, and I was eating a bunch of garbage. And so, yeah, I'm not as healthy as I could be right now. So I don't know if I want to jump on the medication right away. I think I may chat with him and say, Doc, let's make a deal. I'm going to be really good in 2025. Let's retest maybe in 6 months. I think my elevated cholesterol levels are more related to my own bad behavior, because consistently for years I've always had lower cholesterol. Now, it is true that it could jump up. That's, perfectly a reasonable thought process. But I'm going to see what he says and then not come up with a blended approach. That's what I was just about to say. I don't want to go on any medicine, really, if I can, keep the numbers down by diet and cholesterol. Diet and exercise. I eat a lot of turkey burgers, and I just realized that the ones that I buy have 300 milligrams of cholesterol, and I eat like a couple a day. Not every day, but, the things that I cook are pretty consistent. Chicken breast, turkey burgers, and like a few other things, but I do a lot of turkey burgers, so I would do 2 of those, and that's 600 milligrams of cholesterol. And I googled it, and that's still not really super high for somebody, but maybe I'll do 1 rather than 2 and start eating more vegetables. Yeah, so that's going to be my New Year's resolution, really, is that I'm going to think less about money, because I've done all this work, and you guys do a lot of work as well. So the advice I give myself is the same I would give to you, is that you do see me working in my observation videos on numbers, but that's just for 30 minutes in the morning, and then you're not seeing other things I do throughout the day. So I don't want you to think I sit around and think about money all the time, although I do, kind of, sort of. But my New Year's resolution is to just relax, right? Relax. Relax. I need to take my own advice. Relax. That might be kind of loud. Relax. 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 And definitely take it easy and to get into the best shape of my life. So I did just join the gym. I told you about that, right? I think I did. So I joined LA Fitness. I missed the opportunity to pay $20 a month, and I have to pay $40 a month. I cannot believe it. They were running a special. The guy told me, because I called them for 2 weeks. I just missed it by 2 days, and they didn't give it to me. Can you believe it? I should have acted on that right away. It was for just the one gym, which is less than a mile away from me. So I'm going to ride my bike every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I'll probably be there from I want to be there when all the other people aren't there, so there's the morning crowd, and then there's those people that have to work, right? So they probably go at 6 in the morning, and then they'll be gone by 8. So I plan on being there at 9:30 or 10 at the latest. I'm going to ride my bike every day, every weekday, and do my workouts with weights. I don't want to build and bulk up or anything like that. I just want to be like a lean swimmer build, which I kind of sort of have, but I'm a little bit flabby anyway. So I'm just going to concentrate on that. Get back into swimming, which you guys know I've talked about swimming, biking, and running. I cannot wait. And I hope then that after, 6 months of really good behavior, I'm going to tell my doctor, I'm going to say, doc, test me again in 6 months, which he wanted to do before. And I said, well, we made an appointment, and then I canceled it. Scandal. I canceled it. I said, nope. I was too busy with work. But now I have to tell him I'm sorry. I should have done that. But I want him to allow me to have a 6-month opportunity to see if I can get those numbers down. It reminds me of, and I'll tell you this story as I close out the episode. Funny story about Evan. I do not like to go to the doctor. I do not like to go to the doctor. I do not like to go to the doctor. Now, dentists always have to do my blood pressure, which I'm doing right now, once a day for about a week, and then I give them the piece of paper. Where is it? Is it over here? No. That's just my Mazda. My tires, for some reason, are showing that the air is low, but I know that's not true. Relax. So I'm gonna get a little air pump. Those, like, you can buy them on Amazon. Here it is. I know you really can't see that, but these are my blood pressure readings down here from 2023 and now 2024. So he was like, what is it? Dystolic, and I always forget how they systolic and diastolic. I don't know. Are any of you medical people? The top number, systolic and dystolic. I don't know. I'm screwing that up. Anyway, my numbers were really good. Below 140, obviously, but within 100 to 300. And then the bottom number was between 60 to 80 and below 90. And he gave me an A+. So, but when I go to the doctor, it's really high. So I just started my numbers for, before I go to him. Started in December, and it's wrapping up before I see him. But anyway, they laugh at me because, my blood pressure. And the story I wanted to tell you is that years ago, I had a doctor that really thought I had high blood pressure. And he put me on some medicine, and I was like falling asleep. So they took me off of it. Anyway, I enjoyed chatting with you guys. I hope